let's talk about books originally written in another language. Hey Dragonlings, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance. I'm named Hegyes, and today we're going to be talking about translated books. This is part of the Author's Answer series that I have recently started doing, where I have taken blog posts where a bunch of different authors answered the same questions on a blog post, and I have converted it to video format. And this is another one of those videos. The question for this one is, have you read any foreign language novels, translated or not, and what would you recommend? And I have a couple of different books I want to mention for this. Different types of styles of reading and a different couple of books completely. All of the works I mentioned today are going to be ones that I have read translated from other languages except one, which I will get to when we talk about it. But the first one I want to talk about is not actually a single book. It's a genre style, and that is manga or manga, depending on how you pronounce it. These are like Japanese comic books. They are usually in black and white. They are usually read from right to left instead of left to right. And the first one I want to mention is Fruits Basket by Natsuki Take. I am probably butchering the name. And it's about a girl who starts living with a cast of characters who are cursed with the Chinese zodiac. And there's actually an additional Chinese zodiac, the cat. And it's all about her living with these people and helping break the curse. The second series I want to mention is Oran High School Host Club. This is by Bisco Hattori, also Japanese. And in this series, she is a girl. However, because of an incident that happened on her first day of school, she has a haircut style of a boy and she wears the clothes of a boy. And so she gets mistaken for a boy. And after she breaks a vase that costs more money than she can afford, she is a scholarship student at this presumptuous private academy. And after she breaks a vase that's worth a lot of money, I can't even translate how much yen versus English dollars it is, a lot. She gets roped into joining the host club, and they slowly figure out that she's a girl, first of all, and she's among a bunch of boys. And it's hilarious and sweet and fascinating at the same time, and I absolutely adore it. I have both read the mangas, the whole series of both, though it's been a long time since I've read the Fruits Basket all the way through because I don't have all of those. So I've read both of them and I've watched the show. They have actually done a remake of Fruits Basket that is more true to the story of the manga, and I actually do need to watch that. I haven't watched the remake. I've only watched the original. That was the first one I wanted to mention. The second one I wanted to mention was La Belle et la Bête. This is a short story. It's Beauty and the Beast, and it's by Gabrielle Suzanne Barba de Villeneuve. Gabrielle Suzanne Barba de Villeneuve. This is a French short story, and I read the original in French. I actually had to translate it for my French class in high school. So I've both read the original French version and the English version, and I've read a bunch of different retellings because it is my favorite fairy tale of all time. I love a good Beauty and the Beast retelling. The next one I've read is Neverending Story. This is by Michael N. This was originally in German, and I read it translated in English, and I absolutely adored it. And I watched the movie too. I actually grew up with the movie before I even learned it was a book first, and it wasn't only when I grew to adulthood that I learned it was a book and then read it as an adult, and I absolutely love it. And also, fun fact, the movie follows the first half of the book to perfection. However, The Neverending Story feels like a book that probably should have been two books, and they did the movie as two separate movies. And the second movie is not as true to the book, which would have been the second half of the book, honestly. It's not as true to the story, but considering the adaptation it actually is pretty good. It's a sucky movie, don't get me wrong. Everyone hates on Neverending Story too, and I think there's even more movies, but I haven't seen them, so I don't know anything about them. But Neverending Story feels like it should be split into two books. It should be a series of two books, a duology. And the first movie, is an exact, almost word for word, it feels like, translation of the first half of the book. And the second one feels like what you would normally get from an adaptation of a book to movie kind of thing, of the second half of the book. It's very weird to describe, but I like both the book and the movies, those two, just as well as each other, with the knowledge that the second movie is not a exact translation of the book. of the second half of the book. So, fun fact for you if you didn't know, Neverending Story, there's multiple movies. I think there's 3 or 4. And the first 2 movies are the book, basically. Next, we have Homer. Homer is an author. He wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, both of which I've read translated versions of. I can't speak Greek. I'm sorry. Editing Skye here because apparently I don't know how to finish my thoughts. So here we are. With both the Odyssey and the Iliad, these were ones that I read in high school. I'm not even certain we read the whole thing of either one. It might have just been passages from both. But that being said, I do have audiobooks read by Stephen Fry, I believe it is, of both these books. And they are on like my TBR of books I would like to listen to this year at some point. So at some point I will read the whole things, even if I haven't in the past. But my mind tells me I have read the whole thing of both in the past. I cannot remember the Iliad at all. And the only reason I remember anything about the Odyssey is because of Epic the Musical and other such film adaptations that have come about of the Odyssey since its interpretation. So, yeah. And then after that, the final one I want to mention is, of course, everyone knows Shakespeare. I have read Macbeth, I have read Hamlet, and I've read Othello. A lot of people in high school read Romeo and Juliet. I never read Romeo and Juliet. Those were the 3 I read in high school, and I've also read Midsummer Night's Dream. So 4. I've read 4 of Shakespeare's. I almost said Hamlet's. Editing Skye here again. With Shakespeare, I realized that it's not an actual translation from one language to another, but it is really hard for me to read Old English, so it might as well be a translated work for me. We're going to count it, because I do have to read the Old English beside Modern English in order to understand Shakespeare. Shakespeare is definitely written in a way that is not meant to be read, it's meant to be watched. I have read all the plays I mentioned, but on top of that, I have watched A Midsummer Night's Dream on stage as a play, as well as I've watched the movie featuring Stanley Tucci and a bunch of other people whose names I cannot remember off the top of my head. So that one, I didn't understand it when I was reading it, and I've read it a couple times now, but I definitely understood it for like the first time ever when I both watched the play and the movie. So I think I watched the movie in preparation for watching the play, which my sister took part in when she was in college. So yeah, I wanted to add those thoughts in real quick. So there you have it. Those are the translated books I have read. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me a snail emoji. And if you know, you know. There is a reason why I'm saying a snail. And drop in the comments if you understand the snail reference, whether you leave the snail emoji or not. And also tell me, what are some translated books that you have read? Do you have any recommendations that you think I would enjoy based on the ones I've just recently mentioned? Especially like Beauty and the Beast retellings. If you got a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I've read a lot, so it's a possibility you'll name one I've read, but there's a couple of times when I've asked that and someone's mentioned one I've never heard of, so feel free to drop it in the comments. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, Dragonlings.